Well, cut all my crunching out. It is not gonna sound good.
That's a lot to cut out. You mean,
just cut out this whole first part.
We got to have some type of pre-talk or intro or something. So you need to either stop crunching or
stop crunching.
Or I can cut out maybe half of it, but you
last crunch.
you
it's a carrot. It won't finish. We don't have to keep me talking about how long Terry was talking.
Well, I didn't know if Janessa was ready or not because I didn't know she was still getting her.
I'm here. We can go.
Okay.
Gotcha. Do we need some more pre-chatter? Okay, we're gonna start the recording at this time. So y'all, why I find out that the clip from last week was a skit. So we'll have to talk about that when we get into the podcast.
The clip from last week.
The story I told you about the Cheesecake Factory, it was a skit.
Oh, with her not wanting to go in and all that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gotcha.
I didn't listen to the whole story, but it was a skit.
Oh, gotcha.
Wow.
Yeah. But it definitely mirrors truth to somebody out there. So it may not have been her on the video, but I'm more than sure it's somebody out there who saw that and was like, "Girl, yes." You know what I'm saying?
And they said they did it to humble Black women. I don't have carrot in my teeth. To humble Black women. But yeah, it was a skit. Gotcha. So it wasn't real.
All right, well, let's get into it and we'll talk about it.
Boom shakalaka.
Top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Wagon. What'd you say, Janessa? Oh, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode.
She is on delay.
Your signal or something is delayed, Janessa. Because like you look and sound fine, but you just answering like 5 seconds later every time.
And like that's like she's not listening to you, paying you no attention.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Worst Ones Podcast. This is the place for us preachers' kids to be the absolute worst. I'm gonna mute Janessa while she eats whatever snack she's crumbling on in the background. Yeah, this is the place for preachers' kids. We are preachers' kids, PKs. We are the worst. I am Rudy Wilson, PK.
I am Kellie Lee, PK.
And we got Jay Rihanna, our resident honor roll student, who's also a PK, and Terry Weezy, who should be joining us in about 20 minutes or so, who is also a preacher's kid.
He got a new job, so he a little late.
Got a new job, so he is a little late. So we'll have to readjust our recording times. But until then,
that's gonna be a struggle too, y'all.
It is. But we'll cross that bridge after
tomorrow.
You're right. After we cross this one that we're currently at. So, Kellie Lee, how's it going with you?
I'm good. I think just recovered from homecoming.
Okay.
Had a wonderful time celebrating, graduating from Spelman College. I don't understand why people do that. Like, I saw a woman at my job today who had on a Spelman hoodie, and I said, "Oh, did you go to Spelman?" I graduated from Spelman. Like,
right. That wasn't my question.
All right.
That wasn't my question.
But I had a great time celebrating with my friends, with my line sisters. Right. It was me and my boyfriend's first homecoming together. Okay. We met last year at homecoming, and so this.
He went to Morehouse.
Yeah, he went to Morehouse. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so gotcha. This was 1 year from us meeting and our first homecoming together.
Oh, wow.
I think we did a great job kind of navigating it together, having different friend groups, but wanting to be together and how we split our time. I was a little nervous about that going in, but we did well.
Gotcha.
Yeah, did well. So it was a good time. Had a good time.
Gotcha. And you were nervous in the sense of feeling like you wouldn't spend enough time, or
right.
Okay.
Just how to balance like my friends and well on both ends, my friends and my boyfriend and him, have different friends and me, and when we're together, when we're apart at tailgate, we were like at two different tents. I had some things with my friends that he was, more than welcome to come through. He had some things, but it's like I don't always want to do, what the other person does, so it was our first time kind of going into something together where we had the same agenda and different agendas at the same time.
Gotcha.
So, but we navigated it really well.
Did he also pledge?
No.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I was proud of him. He was completely understanding. It was my 15th year, I think I told y'all, since crossing. And so we had just some line sister things, and he was like, go do your thing. I see you afterwards. Like, it went well.
Gotcha. Are y'all the same year, same age or whatever?
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Dope.
Yeah. So it went well. And in the topic of dating is trash, to jump in and we can jump back out with introductions. But the reason why I was nervous was because in previous dating relationships, guys have been a bit more controlling. And I want you to do what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to move how I move and do what I do. And, you need to be here by this. Not necessarily you need to be here by this time, but like, hey, all right, you can go hang out with your line sisters for an hour or two, but then I want you back for, and so I just didn't know what it would look like for me and my current boyfriend. And we did a great job.
And the whole time y'all were at Morehouse and Spelman, like as far as students, y'all never saw each other, knew each other or anything?
So he knew who I was. I think he dates back to maybe junior year. Okay. Maybe before that. Sophomore, junior year, he seen me because we have some mutual friends, some mutual acquaintances. And they're probably more his friends and like people I knew. But so he had seen me at a party. And he even has the hit me up on Facebook. Somehow my responses aren't there, but stop it. But yes, so he knew me, but I didn't know him. Gotcha. But the funny thing is, I don't even know if I've told you the story of when we met. When we met last year in homecoming, he didn't remember my name, but I remembered his because I follow him or I'm friends with him on Facebook. So when I saw him, I'm like, oh, that's, whatever. But he comes up to me and was just like, hey, how you doing? What's your name again? It's like, right. He's a little smoother than that. But that's pretty much what he said.
Right. Gotcha.
And I was like, dang, okay, I know who you are. Right. But I guess it's just a switch. Right. A switch. Back in college, I didn't know him. He knew me. Right. Now I knew who he was, but he didn't know.
Right.
He couldn't remember my name.
Right. Gotcha.
But yeah, but it was good.
Dope little love story. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Miss Honor Roll, what's happening? Maybe still delayed.
I was wondering why she was a little black and white. You lost a little color over there too.
Okay, so is it still delayed? Yeah, am I delayed?
No, we can hear you now. You don't seem to be delayed right now.
Yes.
Oh, maybe so. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I tried to move from my office. Oh no.
Your office looks nice though. Do like to change the scenery. It does look nice, look greenery.
Right.
But yeah, no.
Now you just flat out frozen. If you hear us.
So while we wait, Rudy.
Right. Let me take her off so she don't be sitting here looking crazy.
All right, Rudy, you need a story today. So tell us something about tell us something that's happened in the last week.
I'm trying to, let me see. Did she?
Nope.
Yeah. Janessa, you might as well like log out of something, come back in, restart your computer. You all the way choppy. All right, I'm gonna just take half. Okay. Let me see. As far as the start, I mean, everything's good with me. I actually just say started a new job, if you will, as well. I'm working overnight at the Planet Fitness that I work out at, which works for my schedule. Because it's a Sunday through Thursday situation, overnight, but so it doesn't interfere with my church obligations, comedy obligations, which is why, like, even when I saw that they posted for it, I inquired about it because I wanted to, like, when I seen it was overnight, that's what initially intrigued me. And then when I asked and they told me the days, and I realized, like I said, it wouldn't affect Sunday during the day, it wouldn't affect my Fridays and Saturdays when I have shows, and it wouldn't affect, and even throughout the week, because like the shows on the weekend are normally around 10. And if I would have had to go in at 10, it would have affected that. But then even throughout the week, with me doing like the open mics and stuff, which start at 8, I can still get in and get out and still make it there by 10 o'clock. So yeah, so it works. And it's right up the street. And like I said, it's where I work out anyway. So as soon as I get off, I just work out and then go home and go to sleep and whatever like that.
So you work from 10 until 6?
10 to 6, yeah.
Okay.
6 a.m. Yeah. And then and it's also a pretty easy job in the sense of like having a lot of like time on your hands while you're there. So and you're also allowed to get stuff done while you're there. So I can also work on things, whether like I'm not in school anymore, but if I was in school, I could do homework, I can write scripts, I can I can still be productive. I just, because most of like you got like one section that you have to like worry about as far as like cleaning, but then other than that, for majority of the time you standing up front at the counter.
Checking people in and all that.
Right.
Wait, Rudy, you said what? What is this?
That I'm working overnight at Planet Fitness.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah. And being that it's overnight, it's nowhere near as many customers and stuff as it is during the day. So it's also even more downtime to not have to tend to too many people trying to, if they want to cancel a subscription or just whatever. Like it's a lot.
How often does somebody want to cancel a subscription?
Right. And if they do, I just come back during the day when the manager is. You can, you know what I'm saying, type thing. So yes, it's real simple. And the guy who I'm actually replacing, like, he had got another job, so tonight is his last night. So yeah, I mean, it's a really like good thing. It is simple because it's a really like being thrown in the fire type of situation. Like you got yesterday and today, learn everything, and then by the next day you're gonna be by yourself. You know what I'm saying? So now the good thing is I'm already familiar with the gym, so like I know where a lot of stuff, not like the back rooms and stuff, but just how to navigate the gym itself. And then even with like being familiar with some people who already work there, because I would see them all the time type thing. So yeah, so it's a good little situation. Now the pay ain't worth a damn. I'm gonna say that. Now the pay ain't worth a damn. But from my current situation, especially not having a car right now, in my car note and car insurance, like that was like a big chunk of my bills as of right now. So it is putting me in a position to be able to stack up a little bit, save a little bit, and also be productive in other areas, and not really have to break stride. So yeah. So that's I guess my biggest update.
Good. Well, congrats to you on a new job.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Janessa, you got something for us? You got an update for us?
My gosh, it's been a struggle bus day. So the laptop that I typically use to record the podcast, I was setting it up, realized I didn't have the power cord and that I must have left it at work. So I have a second laptop, plug that up, and I guess I was delayed or whatever.
Right.
I moved to the kitchen towards the router, trying to be closer, and that didn't help.
Gotcha.
So now I'm on my phone, but I don't want to have the video because like it's just gonna look real raggedy. It's gonna look real raggedy. I don't know if the sound is gonna cut out. So if this is clear, we're just gonna roll with it like this today.
Gotcha.
Life has been all right. Today I had my first. I hired my first person for my unit, and today was her first day.
Okay.
So just kind of
Big
going through
boss
the
moves.
process of having a new hire, not really knowing what to do, kind of feel like I'm winging it. But I'm excited that I finally have some help on my team. So that was good. I didn't go to homecoming. I just wasn't feeling it. But
Neither one, Spelman or Tech.
did not feel like going to either. And it was like the last day. I had a ticket to the Georgia Tech game, and I just didn't feel like going this year. So I said next year I'm gonna go. But I just did. I went to like my nephew's soccer game, my other nephew's football game. Some of my friends came over to the house. We did homecoming at the house.
Okay, it's a celebration.
Yeah, and then my sister and all my like first cousins, we got together Saturday night, dressed up in costumes, and had movie night at my sister's house. So I still had lots of things and fun to do. And then just real quick, so I know we're pressed for time, but Sunday is my father, a.k.a. myself as well, 23rd pastoral anniversary. So we're gearing up for that.
Ring.
23.
That's huge. Congrats.
And then, thank you. And then New Beginning is also installing their second pastor this Sunday.
Their second pastor.
Right. I'm like, what's the second pastor?
Yeah, Bishop Bort was the first pastor. And
you mean that? You mean that? Yeah. I thought you meant it like another one under Pastor Bowles. That's what I'm like.
I'm like, y'all doing a co-pastor thing? Right.
That's what they're saying on their flyer and stuff. Second pastoral anniversary of New Beginning for Pastor Bowles. So that's on Sunday.
Gotcha.
And I might go. We'll see.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah. Congrats. You got a lot of big stuff going on over there.
Yeah.
Making boss moves on the job.
Absolutely.
23 years. Past New Piney Grove. Putting in that work. So yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. I'm happy to hear that.
Now, what are we talking about again? I missed all the pre-talk. I'm sorry.
Dating is trash, part 2.
I just hope it was more interesting than making your own mayonnaise. That's what they talked about last week when we weren't here, Janessa.
That's what Terry.
Rudy was egging him on. Yep.
I had nothing to give him.
How do you make the mayonnaise?
Right, I'm like I barely even eat mayonnaise.
Wrap it up.
Making mayonnaise. Wait a minute.
Yeah, right. I think Sarah was talking about him. He was planning on like opening up his own restaurant or something, and then it had something to do with him knowing how to make homemade mayonnaise and yada yada. It was a whole thing. Yeah.
It was a whole thing for a good 10 minutes.
Wow. All right.
But he did say we were beautiful, Janessa. Rudy said when we weren't here, he was like, we're waiting. He was like, we're waiting on our 2 beautiful co-hosts, Janessa and Kellie. They should be here by 7:15. Let's see how that happens. He did. He gave us a shout out and a backhanded compliment.
Well, I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I don't think Terry would be here right at 7:30, like he said. But but we'll move forward nonetheless. Yeah. So dating is trash, part 2. So as we get started, let's actually jump back into the whole skit thing. So the thing that we talked about the Cheesecake Factory.
Right. So I didn't listen to, and I wish I would have. I say this every week, but I didn't listen to. She's done a couple of interviews since then. And I only saw the headline on one of the interviews that said that the whole thing was a skit, just to, humble Black women. And as you said, people in the comments were probably like, oh no, women identified with it, for sure. Totally could be a real situation. And they were saying, we've built this whole this is where you don't take me on first dates and all of this from this skit. that's going viral.
So it definitely did the opposite of what they were trying to. Definitely didn't humble anybody.
I didn't even make that connection until you just said it. Right. Not only did they say the Cheesecake Factory,
right.
They also
let's add to the list. Right?
23 other places that you do not take. But yes, so I realized that I'm not like, I read headlines, like I'll follow the Shade Room and Spiritual World and those things, but I feel like I often read headlines, but I don't watch the clips that go along with it.
Right.
And so I just read that headline, but I did not see the clip that goes along with it. But like you said, it seems like it had the opposite impact because ladies added 23 other places that they don't want to go.
Right. And so even with that, do you think? I mean, I know it may be kind of hard for us to tell because we're Black and we kind of focus on just say the Black culture. But do you think it is a Black people or even Black woman issue, or do you think that women in general just say have these standards that we're now looking at?
I don't know if I can answer that question, but I would imagine that it's not just Black women, that women of other, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if Janessa, I don't know.
You know, I can't definitively say yes, other races have the same issues as Black people. Off the top of my head, I would think that other races have these conversations. I don't even know if it's a conversation, but maybe way of thought. I don't know. I think maybe we're just highlighted more. I don't know if it's social media. I don't know if it's this quasi celebrity status that's going on in the world. Like back in our day, you know, if you were a big name celebrity, like that was a big deal. You oftentimes could only see them at meet and greets or at a concert. You know, you could only see them at certain times. And so when you did, it was kind of special. But now you see a lot of these or quote unquote celebrities, these influencers, social media celebrities at the Waffle House. Or, you know, up the street at the mall, at these everyday places, sort of to say. And I think there's like a whole new generation of like semi-celebrities and people are aspiring to that level. Maybe you're not a millionaire, but a thousandaire, and you might get flued out and you might get a bag and you might, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not really generational wealth building type of status or, you know, just you're set for life, but some materialistic things thrown at you here and there. And it just kind of sometimes seems like that is valued more than, you know, actual quality time with that person or genuine relationship and all the things that, you know, some of us older folks typically think about in a relationship. And I think today more about what can you do for me? What bill can you pay? That's what we think about, quote unquote, we, you know, in relationships. What can you do for me? That's what the relationship is. What bag can you get me? What bill can you pay? What life can you give me where I don't have to work for real? Like, and do other cultures do that? I think they do. I just think for whatever reason, it's highlighted more for us. Like you said, on the Shade Room and Spiritual World, you got your TikToks and your Instagrams. And maybe there are some other cultures that are on social media and influencers and whatever. I just don't follow them. So I don't, they're not on my feed. They're not part of the algorithm. You know, you look at one thing at a time and now all of a sudden you see these people, stuff you ain't never seen before. Like maybe I just haven't come across that page. And so that lifestyle is not on my algorithm, on my feed. I don't know. Very long-winded to say I don't know.
But to that point, so a friend of mine sent me a TikTok video or a reel. I don't know the difference really, but of a white couple, white male and a woman, and the guy was talking about women, his white guy, and he was talking about women wanting a sugar daddy, but he's a stevia daddy. And he's and he's like, 732. And he's like, so she's saying little things. I thought you were going to take me to, I thought you were going to pick me up in a Maserati. And he pulls up in a Mazda, and he was like, no, I said a Mazda. Ready? Or I thought you were going to take me to Lululemon. I think that's the
Lululemon
clothing brand.
Yeah.
And he was just like, well, I figured I'll take you to the headquarters and maybe you can get a job and get a 20% discount, And so it was a couple of little skits like that.
Right.
They were asking the girl, they were like out on a date, and she had like some orange juice, and they're like, oh, is that a mimosa? And she was like, oh no, it's orange juice and LaCroix, but whatever. And so to me, that leads me to believe, like, just in terms of money, and the money that women want to be spent on them on dates and doing courting and with their man, there are some similarities in that. To Janessa's point, my algorithm is just, they know I'm a Black woman, and so I get Black content.
Right.
And so a friend of mine literally just sent that to me yesterday, and it was funny, but I guess it speaks to the point where there are some similarities in the dating culture, regardless of race. Well, we do now have our token white.
I was just about to say, so Terry as our token white. The question at hand right now, because we the whole cheesecake thing that we talked about last week, we found out was a skit, and they said that they were doing it to humble Black women, and so now the question at hand is, because we're the three of us are obviously Black, so we kind of are more familiar with the Black culture, but just say in your culture and your dating experience with white women, or even just non-Black women in general, is that same kind of standard there in reference to the more superficial requirements when it comes down to dating as opposed to true love?
No, man, a hoe is a hoe, like regardless of the skin color. Like,
I don't know if that's what I was asking, but
well, I'm just saying there are those.
Terry gonna take it.
There are those kind of women. I will say this: having had such a minutia of friends and lovers over the years, I can say that when you do get wrapped up with one of those women that wants to be wined and dined constantly, it seems to, I don't want to say trick or fool, but there seems to be it seems to work a little better on Black men than it does on white men. I've just kind of noticed that white men they just kind of immediately latch on to the idea, like, okay, I'm going to get you all the stuff you want. I'm going to pay your bills. I'm going to take care of you, and you're going to have it on demand, whenever. Like, and it almost seems to be like a business proposition. Whereas I've had some friends, and again, I can only base this on my own personal experience, but I have had some friends who we're young Black guys that, oh, no, she just wants respect and this and that. I'm like, no, man, she wants your money. Yeah. Like, and again, that's just based on my own personal experience. But I also, I know people in the South Florida comedy scene right now that are young, attractive women who are kind of shacked up with older, more affluent men. And it's just kind of a known thing. It's like, you get access as long as those bills get paid. And it's just kind of I would say it's, and I wouldn't put it on, if you nailed my fence to the floor and made me pick, like a race of people that it was most prolific in, I wouldn't say Black or white. I would say Hispanic.
Gotcha.
It's, I mean, I would say probably 50 to 60% of the women I've dated have been Hispanic. Yeah, I've been engaged 4 times, and 2 of them were to Hispanic women. So
those are the 2 you didn't marry.
Those are the 2 I didn't marry. That's right. Thankfully, bullet dodged. But yeah, one of them is now shacked up with an affluent man in South Florida. So, but no, I would say it's very common in the Hispanic community.
Hey y'all, sorry to interrupt, but we have a few church announcements. Follow us on Instagram at TheWorstOnesPK. New content coming soon. We also have a TikTok at TheWorstOnesPK. No content yet, but continue to check us out. If you want to, when you listen to our podcast, you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast. Just make sure you type in The Worst Ones Podcast and you'll find us. And when you get there, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, and you share. Thank you to our 500,422 followers. We love you so much. Now, back to the show.
Kellie and Janessa, let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think that just say, because
before you jump ahead, since I just got here, and you're saying that the original story we talked about last week was a skit.
Yes.
The 48 Oysters was not a skit.
We were waiting on you to get there.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So go ahead and we'll get to it.
Yeah, we were waiting on you to get there.
All right.
So what I was going to ask was, because it seems like there's and maybe there's just 2 different groups, but just say as a man, when I hear women talk, it can be slightly confusing because it seems like we're at a time where we're just promoting women empowerment, just say the betterment of our outlook on women, like being less misogynistic. Women can be the breadwinners. Women are just, whatever. But then at the same time, there's also this narrative of what we're talking about in reference to just wanting to be taken care of, one of your bills paid, one of your, whatever case may be. So I guess what I'm asking is, do you think that, I guess it's in reference to what we're talking about in the dating scene and this whole mindset of having the standard or whatever, like, do you think that kind of leans or plays into the whole women empowerment thing, or does it knock it back a notch because it makes because even, I guess, and I'm even thinking about this to Tara's point, like if I would imagine a man probably thinking like, if I'm giving all this money and paying all the bills or whatever like that, then my misogyny, I would imagine, would probably increase. You know what I'm saying? Like you're definitely now more of my property, air quotes. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to if we're in it for the love and the actual person or whatever, I can now view you more just as a human being and an equal, as and have less demand on what I feel like you should do since I'm paying all this money.
That depends on the person, not the gender.
Well, I'm asking in reference to this whole movement in general. That's why I'm even asking, I guess, the 2 ladies, because it seems like an imbalance in my opinion, but maybe I'm just looking at it wrong.
I think the first thing that comes to my mind, and I don't know if this is going to answer your question, and I may ramble a bit, is can women be both? Can women do both? Mm-hmm. Can women have the successful jobs? Can they be on the same level as men professionally and be a wife? And be courted and taken care of. Mm-hmm. And I know some men feel like
most of women I know can't do either.
And I know some men feel like no, because I've heard the argument, it's not my argument, that the more successful, and kind of to your point, the more successful the woman is, the less feminine she may be in terms of that more traditional mindset where the man takes care and pays all the bills. Because now that she is making as much money or more, and she may have this high power position, it doesn't necessarily align to being a wife. Not my thoughts at all. And so I think
and when you say being a wife, you're saying like as far
when you
as
said
like
the more traditional mindset of like
taking care of the house,
somebody being taken care of, and
sex on
they're paying
demand,
all the bills, and that piece. And so I think the question has been, or a question has been, can women do both? Right? Can we talk about the empowerment of women, and like I said, women being able to have high power positions and do what men do in some spaces, and be the type of woman that a man desires to marry? As a woman, I would like to say yes.
Oh, I was going to say yes, because my wife is currently doing that right now. Right now in our life, she's the primary breadwinner. I think it's fantastic. It's the first time I've never been I haven't been the primary breadwinner, and I'm fine. I don't mind cleaning the house. Let's go.
So right.
Last year it was reversed, and that was fine too. Like, I think it just depends on the person. Some people just take advantage of the situation. Some people don't.
Right. I think it depends on the person. It depends on the relationship. It depends on how you two work together. I don't know if that answered your question, but
I mean, yeah, I think it does. I mean, I think anything is case by case. I don't think nothing is a 100% just wipe across the board type thing. But I guess I'm just saying in the reference to the movement itself, like, because even asking the question like, can you do both? Obviously, the answer is yes. I mean, there's some people who can chew bubble gum and walk, some people who can't. But in reference to, I guess, changing men's views on how they view women, in my personal opinion, I think being a person who's more leaning towards the superficial stuff, you kind of like, if you're that type of person, to me, I don't really see you as a person who's trying to stand on their own. And definitely if you're saying, I want to be able to make equal amount of money and just not spend any of it because you're going to spend all of it because you're the man, to me, that definitely sounds crazy. Because now, as far as a relationship mindset, that just sounds selfish. Like, I want to be like, you make $1 billion, I make $1 billion, but the man only spend $1 billion to take care of the bills and stuff, and I just keep mine, I don't know, just to say that I have $1 billion, in the bank account, as opposed to, and I don't really feel like you have to choose between being a boss and being, a wife, or even being, what's it called, like in your soft era or soft phase or whatever, whatever that whole thing is. But I don't know. I guess it's just confusing to me, like to have these, because even like having the whole like standard with the Cheesecake Factory and the Applebee's and so on and so forth. To me, that it comes off as women are saying, well, I can afford to take myself to those places. So if I'm with a man, he need to be able to afford to take me somewhere more expensive. But and I guess having standards and wanting certain qualities in men is okay. But to me, I think when things get so superficial as far as like what they have to look like, I don't know. It gets real tainted and real confusing on what your actual desires are. You know what I'm saying? Because what if we run into a situation where, for whatever reason, I can no longer be the breadwinner or the pay the bills or whatever like that, and it's now on you, is because we didn't build our foundation on love and all these other type of principles. We now have to go our separate ways. Like, is my bank account what's qualifying me to be here? You know what I'm saying? Or are you saying, I love you, but I also want some level of a man who's not just a sorry nigga that's just laying on the bed, laying on the couch playing Madden all day. But have a secure job, so I know that you're not a person who's just out here just not doing anything at all. to me, that's one thing. But then to qualify me and say, well, based off of what you can do for me, that will control in my mind whether I pursue you further. That makes me just really question your motives. So I guess I'm just confused on where women actually want to stand.
And I want Janessa to respond, but I want us, because I'm gonna forget. I want you to help me remember that point, because I think that goes into the 48 oysters conversation that we have to have in the next 14 minutes. But
I think it's just a question of, is this a preference or is this a requirement? You know, is it a requirement that he can afford to take you to the place that you can't? Or is it just a nice preference? You know, like, oh,
it seemed like the preference is the requirement. They both seem simultaneous in this day and age.
Maybe, but that's a little jaded. And if I'm saying it's jaded, it's probably pretty jaded.
I mean, but it seems pretty accurate. Go ahead, though, Janessa.
So that was a weighted question, so my thoughts are a little scattered as well. But Kellie did hit something that I think is the overarching, cause, or part of the overarching cause. So I had to look it up, but I want to say it was like sometime in the 1970s was when the law was signed where women could have bank accounts in their own name.
Mm-hmm.
And I think prior to that, like, it wasn't a law, but banks could refuse. So it's kind of on a case-by-case basis. I haven't done too much research on it.
It actually goes later than that. It wasn't until 1987 that a woman could get a credit card without her husband or wife signing off on it.
So stuff like this, systematic stuff like this. And it's kind of crazy to think, because 1970 is not that far, far back for us.
Mm.
I still think 1970s means somebody's 30. So I think we are literally watching the world change in real time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like all over the place. Because, we got some people who have the more traditional mindset. You have people who are now like, oh, you can be a big boss and be in your soft era and feel like you should be treated like a princess. It's just like all these different groups are kind of popping up. And it's kind of like, one group saying, I can't believe this group is doing this. And another group's like, well, y'all need to get on board. What's wrong with y'all? Everybody's kind of pointing at each other saying that they're the problem. You're too traditional. Oh, you're too radical. You're too out there. You're doing too much. And it is confusing. And I think for someone like me, who is probably considered in today's world more traditional, like, it makes it sometimes seems harder, because either guys think that you want that type of lifestyle to be flued out and get bags and, and that's not really what I'm looking for, or, that's not even who I am. Mm-hmm. So there's like an expectation. That's what guys may think. And, or, other people have a lifestyle maybe that you just don't agree with. And so it just kind of makes dating, it goes to our topic, it makes dating even harder, because it's just all this confusion and everybody's trying to figure it out. And that's all I got.
No, I feel you. So what's up with what is it called? The 48 pearls of what is it?
No, the 48 oysters. This was a story that was running on the AP week before last. It was where a woman was upset and trying to press charges against a man because she agreed to go on a date with him. They met at a restaurant, and after he watched her eat 48 oysters, he excused himself to the bathroom and then left and stuck her with the bill. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I like about this. This has been happening for decades to men.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If a woman's not feeling it, or she doesn't like the guy or whatever, she might, stick around, have dinner, whatever, and then pull the same move. Like this is stereotypically, if I would have told you two people are on a date, one of them excused himself to the bathroom and then booked out the back door and just bounced, you would assume that would be a woman. That's how prevalent it was. But now that it's happened to a woman, it kind of opened up a lot of debate. And not to mention, but who eats 48 oysters, period? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I like oysters, but I'm not even going to have a dozen. Like, that's crazy. Not to mention they're expensive.
Right.
That's 4 dozen oysters. That's like $100.
Well, the story that I read said that they went on, I guess, a night that oysters were on special. I don't eat oysters. I do understand that they're expensive, but apparently they were $15 for a dozen, which brings that to $60.
But still.
But I think it goes back
gross.
to I think it goes back to the conversation that we were having last week about the purpose of dating. So I didn't see the TikTok video, I guess, where the girl was talking about it. I just read an article on it. And it said that I guess the young man was trying, or the man was trying to take her out for a while now. And she finally agreed because she had time and was bored.
And had a taste for
the basis of any good relationship.
And so
I had nothing better to do.
And so then he offered to take her out. He asked her where. She chose this oyster bar. Again, in her mind, she's like I said, when I read the story, it was like, I was going there anyway. We can go together. Because to, I think your point, Rudy, is like, I can pay for this myself. You can come along and now you can pay for the both of us.
What agreement did they have that said that he was going to be paying? Did they have some sort of written agreement?
Well, it looks like, so like I said, again, when I read the story, it looks like where the disconnect came in was that, and again, I don't know if this is true. I don't even know the source that I got this story from, but we're going to run with it today.
At least you're being honest about it.
We're going to run with it today. That he had agreed to take her out for drinks. And so I guess she, it says that she like texts him afterwards, like, hey, what happened? You left me with the bill. It was $100 and something, whatever. And he was just like, I agreed to take you out for drinks and you ordered all of this food.
Right.
And he was like, I will reimburse you for the drinks because that's what I agreed to, but the food is kind of on you.
Right.
But I think again, it goes back to what is the purpose for dating. And unfortunately, I can see where men often get the short end of the stick because women just want to go out for a free meal, or because I had time, or I was bored, or I wanted company, or I wanted to go to this place. And so he'll take me to this place, or, or whatever. And the expectation culturally is that men pay for the first date, or at least whoever initiated the date pays for that date.
And that's what hurts the most. That's what hurts the most. It's the assumption. It's the assumption that I'm a free meal. You know what I mean?
Right. And I get it. And so that's why I understand when men are so jaded when it comes to dating and paying and those things. That's when I understand where you have the conversations about going on dates and splitting the bill and those things, because I want to make sure that, you're not just trying to take advantage of me for my money, or get a free meal off of me. That's when I understand, hey, let's do something, which again, I don't disagree with, like we talked about last week. The low key dates, and let's go to the park or get ice cream or a slice of pizza or something that's relatively inexpensive. I get it, because unfortunately there are women out there who are just going out there for a date. For the lady with the 48 oysters, when she knew she was going overboard, she should have said something. Like, hey, I know I'm going a bit overboard. Because it was saying, like, I guess she was saying they were just so good, she just kept eating them. And she's like, hey, I know I'm going overboard. I will pick up this, versus, like you said, the assumption that whatever it is that I purchased, because I guess it also says she got some crab cakes and some other stuff.
Regardless of the money situation, I would have left on general principle. Like, 48 oysters and then some other stuff too. No, you nasty. You're like, if you've ever eaten a dozen oysters, that's enough, And I 48.
I think I guess even my biggest problem, even with the whole just the requirement thing is, because I don't think that there's anything wrong with expensive dates or doing nice things that are costly. I just think it's a problem when you're leading with that expectation. It's almost kind of like trying to
it's the assumption.
but you're building a foundation on sinking sand as opposed to a strong foundation. You know what I'm saying? Those are the two little pigs that built their house out of straw and sticks or whatever like that, as opposed to brick. Like, because money, tangible things, stuff like that, all of that stuff can always come and go. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But in reference to like dating somebody, falling in love, and even more so, even marrying them, like this definitely has to be somebody who you can go through the fire with. You know what I'm saying? Like regardless of what that looks like. And if the foundation was built on what I could do for you financially, or even what you could do for me financially, because there's definitely some guys who are looking for women with money so that, so she can take care of him. You know what I'm saying? So it could definitely go both ways. But when that's the foundation, there's not really a foundation there. You know what I'm saying? It's really a short term, let me get this, and then I could run into what my cousin calls the next highest bidder and move on to them, because you no longer serve me the way that you initially did. And that can be to any degree. Like maybe you're even a person who at this time of your life can't even afford Cheesecake Factory. Maybe all you can afford is making homemade sandwiches and having a picnic. You know what I'm saying? But if I come into the situation already judging you off of that, then I don't even give you a chance to really find out like who you are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like and I get nobody wants to be broke or poor or not be able to experience the finer things in life. But to me, when that's your first thought, when that's your goal, when that's your mindset, when that's your requirement, if the Cheesecake Factory thing was real, I'm not getting out the car. I wouldn't be caught dead, seen in the Cheesecake Factory. Like if that is your real mindset, then it makes me, even if I got $1 trillion, it makes me not want to do anything nice for you, because you don't seem, faithful over few to even, you know what I'm saying, to even be able to get more. And I even heard, my last little point, I even heard the Breakfast Club even kind of using the example of the movie Coming to America. You know what I'm saying? Like Eddie Murphy's character, like he wanted to go to America and live this normal life. He wanted to be a janitor. He wanted to live in the hood. He wanted to not let anybody know that he was a prince and had a kingdom waiting on him and had all this money and stuff, because whoever he fell in love with, he wanted her to fall in love with him and not with what he had and what he could do, you know what I'm saying, for her. And to me, I understand somebody, taking that approach, even though it's just a movie, because for a fact that if most people, if you find out how much I have, you're definitely gonna like me then. That's why, celebrities, even if they look like Flavor Flav, can get, 2-3 seasons of beautiful women inside of a house, you know what I'm saying, to kiss him in the mouth and do all this other type of stuff. But it's because of the celebrity. It's because of the status. It's because of the money. It's because of these things, as opposed to, as opposed to just say something that's more a stronger foundation that you can actually build on. So,
agreed.
And what you were referring to, we call that the BBD, or the bigger, better deal. Because when you get one of those girls, you got to remember, like, as soon as the bigger, better deal comes along, there's no loyalty in that.
No, for sure.
But yeah, and it definitely goes both ways. Not often, but it definitely goes both ways. There was a pretty well-known South Florida comedian who you have probably heard of, or at least know, or something, who frequently would show up with 60, 70-year-old rich women. And it was gross. It was real gross to watch a 22-year-old decent-looking young man make out with a 72-year-old woman in the corner. She did pull up in a Phantom, but still.
I mean,
Get what your purpose is.
Yeah. I about to say, and even that's slightly different. Even like going after somebody super old for one reason, as opposed to somebody your own age, for that same reason. Similar, but even those people slightly have different mindsets. They kind of want the same thing, but
no, it's gross. It's gross.
I mean, it's hard physically kissing somebody that old, but it's slightly different. But anyways,
I don't think it stops there. But go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, Janessa, did you have jewels for us today?
I will save my jewels for when we are not pressed for time, so you guys can get the full effect.
Oh no, you good. I mean, I got time for you to finish it.
You got minutes.
No, it's good.
Okay.
No jewels then.
Okay, well, Kellie Lee.
At Princess Kels 51. Still private, but you can find me there.
You can find me at JRihanna_. We have fun over there.
At Terry Wayne Comedy on all social media platforms. And as always, you can find the book Unclaimed Ashes on Amazon now.
And follow our producer at Risa _G, RHESA _ the letter G. Shouts out to her and all that she does for us. And so I guess as a jewel, don't date superficially, and if you do, prepare to be lonely. No, I'm just kidding.
And turn your heat on. It's cold.
Yeah, no, expensive dates definitely can't be there for you in the storm. So definitely don't try to rest. Terry, can I finish my statement?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
I was trying to agree with you. But go ahead.
Just agree when I'm done, okay?
All right.
Just don't hang your hat on that. Whoever's listening to this, because there's no longevity in it. Unless you just want to have a long list of people that you got to keep switching out from, to keep that lifestyle up. So, and go ahead, Terry, before we close it out.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think Seinfeld said it best. Like, men should pay for the meal. But you know what? It's nice to get a reach, ladies. Just reach. Oh, do you need me? No, I got it. But that reach means everything in the world to us.
I'll pay for the bill just as long as it's at Cheesecake Factory or Applebee's. Yeah. All right.
Not the oyster bar.
Not the oyster bar.
Even on sale night.
What the heck? Janessa. We the worst ones.
Yeah, I'm on camera for the first time.
Top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world.